I never thought that the person I trusted most would turn my life into a living nightmare in front of the entire school. This is the story of how the most popular guy in school betrayed me in a way that shocked everyone. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you thought was your friend, make sure to subscribe and share your story in the comments below. We read every single one. My name is Alex, and I'm a junior at Northwood High School in a suburb just outside Chicago. I've always been more of the academic type, good with books, not so much with sports. I'm that guy who actually enjoys chemistry class and spends his free time writing music on his guitar. I've never been super popular, but I've always had a small group of friends and was pretty content with that. That is, until Jake Miller entered my life. Jake was everything. I wasn't captain of the football team. Ridiculously handsome and the most popular guy at Northwood. Every girl wanted to date him, and every guy wanted to be him. We lived in completely different worlds, and our paths probably never would have crossed if it weren't for the fact that we were assigned as partners in our advanced physics class. I was surprised when Jake didn't try to get switched to a different partner. In fact, he seemed genuinely interested in working together. Hey Alex, you're like a genius at this stuff, right? Jake had asked me on our first day working together. I really need to pass this class to keep my GPA up for college scholarships. Think you could help me out? I was flattered that someone like Jake would even notice me, let alone ask for my help. Yeah, sure, I can help, I'd said, trying to sound casual despite my excitement. Over the next few weeks, Jake and I started spending more time together. He'd come over to my house to study, and I'd tutor him in physics. To my surprise, we actually became friends. He started sitting with me at lunch, introducing me to his friends, and even defending me when some of the other jocks made fun of me. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was part of the popular crowd. You're actually pretty cool, Alex, Jake told me one day as we worked on a project. I don't know why I never hung out with you before. I was on cloud 9. Jake had even started inviting me to parties and including me in his social circle. I thought I'd finally found my place. But everything changed when Jake asked me for a huge favor. Listen, Alex, he said one afternoon looking serious. There's this girl, Jessica, that I really like. But I'm not great with words when it comes to stuff like that. You're good with that creative writing stuff, right? Would you help me write some text to impress her? Of course, I agreed. I spent hours crafting thoughtful, funny, and charming messages for Jake to send to Jessica. And it worked. Jessica started texting back, and soon they were flirting up a storm. Jake was thrilled, and I felt proud that I'd helped my new friend. But then things started getting weird. Jake asked me to keep helping him with Jessica, but now he wanted me to actually pretend to be him when they talked online.
She just responds better to you, dude,
he'd say. I'll handle the in-person stuff. You just keep being me online. I should have known something was wrong, but I was so caught up in finally being part of the popular crowd that I went along with it. For weeks, I maintained an online relationship with Jessica, thinking I was helping Jake. Meanwhile, Jake was taking all the credit in person, telling everyone how he was winning Jessica over with his charm. The betrayal came crashing down on me during the homecoming pep rally. The entire school was gathered in the gym, and Jake was called up on stage as part of the football team presentation. The principal handed him the microphone. And now, Jake Miller has something special he'd like to share with everyone, the principal said. Jake grinned, looking out at the crowd. I want to thank everyone for their support this season. But I also want to talk about something more serious. Bullying. My heart started pounding. Why was he talking about bullying? We've all seen it happen, Jake continued. And sometimes the bullies are the people you least expect. I want to share some screenshots with everyone today. The giant screen behind Jake lightened up, and there they were, screenshots of my conversations with Jessica, but with my name edited out, and Jake's put in their place. But that wasn't all. Jake had also saved our private conversations where I complained about teachers and other students, completely out of context. This guy thought he could mess with people's feelings and get away with it? Jake said, pointing at the screen. He thought he could pretend to be me and manipulate Jessica. But the joke's on him, because I was recording everything. The entire gym erupted in whispers and laughter. People were turning to look at me, pointing and snickering. I felt my face burning with humiliation as I realized what Jake had done. He had never been my friend. He had just been using me to set up this elaborate prank. You should have seen your face, Alex. Jake's voice boomed through the microphone. Did you really think someone like me would be friends with someone like you? This whole time, we were just setting you up for the ultimate takedown. The team voted you our biggest loser of the semester. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I just stood up and ran out of the gym, ignoring the calls and laughter following me. I didn't stop running until I was home, in my room, with the door locked. I could still hear the laughter echoing in my ears. For the next week, I was a pariah at school. People whispered about me in the hallways. And someone had even created a meme of my shocked face from the pep rally that was circulating on social media. I deleted all my accounts and stopped answering my phone. I didn't think I could ever show my face at Northwood High again. Then, one afternoon, there was a knock on my bedroom door. It was Jessica. "I am so sorry, Alex," she said, her eyes filled with tears. "I had no idea Jake was doing that." When I saw those screenshots, I knew something was off because the way Jake was talking to me online was completely different from how he talked in person. I confronted him, and he finally admitted the truth. I was stunned. You believe me?" "Of course I do," Jessica said. "And I'm not the only one. A lot of people think what Jake did was messed up. He might be popular, but that doesn't give him the right to treat people like that." I thought it was over, but I was wrong. The next day, I walked into school to find my locker covered in derogatory photos and notes. Someone had created a fake social media account in my name and was posting embarrassing content. Jake and his friends had escalated their bullying, making my life even more miserable. If this hits home, subscribe. The comeback is epic. I was at my lowest point, ready to transfer schools or just drop out altogether. But then, I remembered something my dad always told me. The best revenge is living well. And I decided to take that advice to heart. Instead of hiding, I started documenting everything. Every bullying incident, every mean text, every social media post. I saved screenshots and kept a detailed log. And then, I did what I do best. I wrote. I poured all my anger and hurt into a song, recording it on my guitar and posting it online anonymously. The song was called Betrayal, and it told the story of how someone I trusted had turned on me for a laugh. To my surprise, it started gaining traction. People at school began sharing it, wondering who had written it and what had inspired such raw emotion. Meanwhile, Jessica had become my unlikely ally. She introduced me to her friends, who were all part of the school's drama and music programs. They welcomed me into their group, and for the first time since the betrayal, I felt like I belonged somewhere again. The turning point came during the school's talent show 3 weeks after the pep rally incident. I had signed up to perform, planning to play my song. When I walked out on stage, I could hear the murmurs from Jake and his friends in the audience. "This is a song I wrote about betrayal," I said into the microphone. "It's called Betrayal, and it's dedicated to anyone who's ever been hurt by someone they thought they could trust." As I began to play, the gym fell silent. The emotion in my voice was palpable, and by the time I finished, there wasn't a dry eye in the audience. The applause was thunderous, and for the first time in weeks, I felt proud instead of ashamed. But the real shock came the next day. The video of my performance had gone viral within the school, and someone had finally connected the dots. The truth about Jake's prank came out, and this time, people were outraged on my behalf. Students who had laughed at me before were now apologizing. Even some of Jake's teammates distanced themselves from him. The principal called me into his office. "Alex, we've seen the evidence of what Jake and his friends did to you," he said gravely. "This kind of behavior is not tolerated at Northwood High. Jake has been suspended from the football team and is facing disciplinary action. I want to apologize on behalf of the school for how this was handled." I couldn't believe it. After weeks of feeling powerless, justice was finally being served. At the next school assembly, the principal addressed the entire student body about bullying and the importance of treating others with respect. Then, to my complete surprise, he called me up on stage. "Alex has shown incredible courage in the face of adversity," the principal said. "He turned a painful experience into something beautiful and reminded us all of the power of resilience." As I stood there, looking out at the crowd, I saw Jake sitting in the front row, unable to meet my eyes. I didn't feel angry anymore. I just felt sorry for him. sorry that he had to tear others down to feel good about himself. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. My song continued to gain popularity online, and I even started a small band with some of my new friends from the drama program. People who had never given me a second glance before were now stopping me in the hallways to compliment my music. Jake eventually transferred schools, but not before issuing a public apology to me and the school. I accepted it, not because he deserved my forgiveness, but because I deserved to move on. Looking back, I realized that Jake's betrayal was one of the most painful experiences of my life, but it also taught me so much. It taught me who my real friends were. It taught me the power of my own voice, and most importantly, it taught me that I'm stronger than I ever thought possible. If you're going through something similar, remember that you are not alone. There are people who care about you, and there is always a way forward. Don't let bullies define who you are. Your voice matters, your feelings are valid, and you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. If this story resonated with you, make sure to subscribe to The Everyone Story for more real stories about overcoming adversity. And remember, no matter what you're going through, there is always hope. You've got this. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? Would you confront a bully like Jake? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to share this story with anyone who might need to hear it today.